Good morning. This is Dr. Thomas Mueller. I'd like to speak with the students in COM 3928. Just a little bit of a suggestion about how to really get ahead in scholarship and, of course, to build a better business career along with your academics. Some of you have done a good job, I believe, with the last few assignments. You've been writing about conversationally. You had the assignment about how to promote the research class and a communication degree at App State. That was a good job. I enjoyed hearing it. I enjoyed reading about the different ideas you had and the conversational pace you had with your writing. But what I'm concerned about is I ask you to include and incorporate quite a few terms in that writing. And what I saw is in many cases, with the exception of a couple, most students will read the text, and that's good, but then in turn you more or less regurgitated those definitions. My concern is that you don't quite yet know the true conceptual meaning of some of those terms. For instance, we can talk about relationships among variables. Can you tell me examples of a positive relationship among two variables? If I asked you about collegiate partying and overall grade average, what could you tell me about a positive relationship with those two? A negative relationship with those two? Some of you have talked, what's a null relationship? What does that really mean if we were talking about partying and overall grade average? And also there could be a converse relationship between partying and grades. So I just want to make sure you're not just kicking back at me the terms of the book without, again, if you can't back up in this research course and understand conceptually how these different terminologies work, you'll never really capture and control and manage the course. Okay? The point I'd like to make is that within your reading, when you do your reading, take time to Google out or Bing out or Yahoo search out, whatever your search engine is, that's fine. But stop and Google out a term. Take 5 minutes and learn a little bit more about the term. See what some others have written about a term. For instance, this week we're talking about ethics. Don't just stop at the text. Back up. Read a little bit about ethics. Read a little bit about the video clip that I've sent you. It's always good to look at a couple alternative sources in addition to the textbook. I have to tell you, probably half of my PhD education was based on Googling out. I taught myself. I always reached out further. I decided how to come upon different facts. And I always built a foundation around what the text was giving me. That's what I'd like to see more of in your work, not only in your narratives and what you write as your position statement for assignments, but also now in your responses to other students. Really what you've been doing is just cursory response, as in, I liked your work, it was funny. There's no content in that. What I want you to do to make you stronger and you a better student is look at what the other student wrote and then come back with a thoughtful response that builds on knowledge. Just like we study in research, you're putting a little piece on top of that person. So study, Google it out, learn a little bit more, cite and bring in another source, help us understand a little bit extra, put your spin on it. It's not bad to have an opinion, but always support your opinion by citing it or supporting it with some other source that you can use and bring into that conversation. That's all part of being a good academic. That's all part of being a good business person. And I'd like to see you engage more deeply in these assignments. Make sure you're putting the time against it. But if you build off the text, because I believe we have a very good text in the Treadwell book, build off that and then bring in more information. You'll be a much stronger student, and again, it'll be much more effective as you transition and build these skills into something you can use in the workplace. Thank you very much.